All right. Well, it is Lucas back again once for the live wire. This time I've got Ali Dean from Architects. This is a massive deal for me, man. So I appreciate you taking the time out to chat.
Thank you for your time as well, mate. It's yeah, nice to chat to you.
Architects are going to be celebrating 21 years of existence this year, and you have been with the band 20 years next year. Could you have
hmm
envisioned that Architects would have such a deep relevance 20 years on when you were playing dive bars in the UK in the mid 2000s?
Uh, I think for a long part of that career, we weren't really thinking about where it was going or what was next. It was just more like make the album, tour, make another album, tour. There was no like, where is this going to end up? When like, is this going to be our career? There was no consideration of that. It was just very much being in the moment and being away a lot and just loving it. So I don't know. I don't think we ever really considered that it would get to this point. I think we
Yeah.
definitely had a point where we probably around Lost Forever, Lost Together, where we were starting to think, okay, we need this needs to actually become our job now. And then from that point onwards, it did. So it was quite fortunate.
For
But
sure. And now you
yeah,
guys are
we're
one of
very
the biggest
grateful for
bands in
where
the
we are.
world, which is insane.
I don't know about that, but we're definitely it's bigger than we thought it would ever be. But yeah,
So
I
I've
can't
got,
I can't agree on that.
I definitely can. I think you guys maybe might be underselling it a little bit in the amount of influence I think you have in the scene. So many bands, especially in Australia, the amount of bands that I see on their influence list as Architects being one of them, especially in the last 5, 10 years, is massive. So you
Mhm.
guys have got a big swing, at least in this part of the world.
Yeah, I mean that's really an amazing thing for us because obviously you grow up and you develop your music taste and you're like your band comes together for the first couple of times, what does the band want to sound like? And if our band is part of those conversations for people starting out, that's a huge honor. So that's really cool.
For sure. So the last time you guys were here was 3 years ago. You're going to be here next month for, oh, I worked it out. It's your 11th tour of Australia, which is, again, an insane feat. Just since you were here last time, I've got a list of all the stuff that you guys have done. And I was reading through this and I was like, I couldn't fathom how you guys have done so much. You've done support slots with Metallica through Europe. You've done multiple European music festival, music festivals. You've toured the world multiple times with Spirit Box, Loathe, of Mice and Men, While She Sleeps, and We Came as Romans, who are all massive bands in their own rights supporting you guys. You also had the support slots with Linkin Park, and you've dropped a whole new album. Do you guys sleep?
Mm.
Like, what's the?
We're actually at a point now where we try and do a lot less with regards to touring because I think we used to tour a lot more than that. But yeah, I think what it shows really is that it's been a little while since we've been to Australia. So it's very exciting to come back. But yeah, I think last time we were there, we were in a very, very different era of our band with being we're on classic symptoms of a broken spirit. So things have changed quite a lot for us since then. So yeah, we're coming back as like a slightly different version of the band with all that different experience that you just mentioned. Um, and we don't usually leave it this long, so it'll be cool to get back and feel how things have changed.
Yeah, for sure. Now, to obviously wrap up an insane, especially last 12 months, you guys are going to be back in Australia, like you mentioned, for those shows in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. These are the biggest venues I think you guys have done in Australia in the history of your career. Does it feel awesome to kind of come back and know that every time you come back, it just gets bigger?
Uh, I've been having this feeling recently of trying to not look at tours and shows as like a stepping stone to the next level and just trying to enjoy them for what they are rather than being like, okay, cool. If we play this venue, then that means we can aim for this venue next time, or we can do it twice, or that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, obviously, I think River Stage in Brisbane is a venue that we played that on the first ever Australian tour we did supporting Parkway. So to come back and headline that feels like a
Full
cool
circle
moment
moment.
for us. Yeah, and I
You're not gonna
remember.
you're not gonna believe
I
this.
remember what.
This was my next question because I was at that show.
Oh no way. That's cool.
Yeah. So I had a friend of mine hand me a copy of Hollow Crown and go check these guys out. I was like, all right, sick, let's go. And then you guys did that tour. I think it was in the August later that year. And I hadn't yet put two and two together that you were the guys that I'd been listening to for the last like 6 months.
Yeah, no
And
way.
I was like rocking out. And like, again, like it's just a full circle moment for you guys to be doing that show. Not only that, you guys had the Bring Me the Horizon show that you did. You played with Amity there too, and they were all support slots.
Hmm.
Again, it's got to be
Yeah.
an insane full circle moment to know that you're going to be coming back, not only with you guys, but with two of the hottest bands I think that are going right now with House of Protection and President.
Yeah, it's a great lineup. We're really, really stoked on the lineup. It's two bands that are doing really cool things at the moment. Um, we always like to try and put together a cool lineup of interesting newer bands if we can. That's always what excites us at least. So House Protection have been around for a little bit longer, but their record's great. Like they're doing a lot of great touring at the moment. And then you got President as well, who are super early in their career. So I think yeah, it's a really cool way of doing it if you can. If your band is able to just take out fresh new bands for people to go and experience, and hopefully people get down early and like enjoy the entire show. That's a cool thing for us to be able to do. And you mentioning all of those great tours that we were lucky enough to do in the early stages of our career, it makes a big difference. So yeah, it's we're stoked on it.
Yeah, for sure. Again, it's almost like you've got my question list because you just brought up the next thing I wanted to talk about, which was the fact that you guys have been platforming, especially in Australia too, like a series of bands that you just seem to catch them right as they're about to blow up. On the last tour when you guys were here, you had Thornhill, and they've gone
Yeah,
now to blow up on the Sleep Token US tour. Like they're
yeah,
getting big name recognition. Yesterday, you probably don't
yeah.
might not be aware of this, but the Arias over here, the big like the awards, Australian awards thing, they just
Mhm.
won best album for Bodies. So
Well,
like,
they deserve it. It's an incredible record.
yeah.
That's
And then you've had Ocean
yeah,
Grove too,
that's a
you've had
record.
Polaris. It's been, yeah, you guys just keep pulling bands that are just at the top of the game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, all those bands you've just mentioned are all great and have gone on to, obviously do great things. But I will say for Thornhill, it's I'm glad they're getting recognised as because that record is amazing, and we've all been listening to it a lot. So it makes sense they won that.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to like stay completely in touch with like the emerging metal scene. Because I think probably all four of us listen to less metal as we get older, just because it's been a part of our lives for 20 years and longer. Um, but yeah, it's a great thing to have new artists suggested to us, go through, see what excites us, and then they come out and tour with us, and then see that they're going on to do great things. It's a really nice, like satisfying feeling for us. So yeah,
Yeah,
stoked for all of them.
for sure. Jumping back to House of Protection real quick. So I've been a fan of them since Steve and Eric were in. Like even when Steve was in the Chariot, I was a fan of them, and
Yeah.
he obviously then him and Eric went on to Fever, and then now they're doing House of Protection. But on the last record, they did the song with you, Brain Dead, which is a fucking
Hmm.
banging song. Um, Earlier in the year, when you guys dropped the track list, they were here opening for Bad Omens, and it was only their fifth ever show live. And I got to talk to him before the show. I asked him about the song and was like, what's it like?" And all he said was, "It's fun," and that's all I can say. Now that the album's out and we've heard how fun it is, how was it like working with them? Like, did you guys have fun?
They're the best. They're like as soon as like it came up that we wanted to do the track with them, they went and did their parts for the song. It's like this just adds so much new flavor to our songs. Do you know what I mean? Like we had never had that kind of feature spot on a song before. Like obviously the two of them being on it, they both have such distinctive characters to their voice, so it added so much just straight away. And then Sam went and did the video with them in LA, and like that video came back to us, and we're like, we've never had a video like this. This is just like this feels so fresh to us. And then yeah, we've recently been playing the song with them on the UK and European tour, and they came out every night and did the song, and like the energy that the two of them bring to the stage is like no other band we've played with. So yeah, they just like you say add a lot of fun to to that moment for us. But we're very very happy that we can tour with them, and I mean it's not going to be the last tour we ever do with them. Like we'll try and play everywhere in the world with them as much as we can because they're just great people, and the live show is like nothing else.
Yeah, I only got 30 minutes with them, but they were two of the nicest guys I think I've ever met. And then like the music is great, the performances are great. Like when they did
Yeah,
the show in when they did the show in Brisbane, funnily enough, like after the interview, Steve said to me, "Was I jumping in the pit?" And I was like, "Nah, way too old, knees are broken, can't do it."
yeah,
Literally couldn't resist, and I got in, and right at the end he spotted me and he was like, "Ah, I see you," and I'm like, "Oh, sick." So yeah, like they've just got real fun chaotic energy. He jumped down like on the river, if you remember the river stage, how it's got that little flat area.
yeah.
He jumped down there and just started a circle pit around him while he played Learn to Forget. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's you know Steve from the Chariot. Like he
yeah.
was going insane back then during every show. I don't know how he's still walking. He's like he's yeah. The two of them have some serious athletic ability.
Yeah, and Eric doing backflips off the drum kits is just insane next level
Exactly.
shit.
Yeah, it's nuts. Every time they come out and play the song with us, I feel like 15 years older.
Couple of things I want to get through, so I'll get through them real quick. So the latest record had you guys working with Jordan Fish for the first time as a producer. Him and Zach Savini, who also mixed it, have been on two insanely massively good tears of just making some of the best music this year. What was it like working with Jordan for the first time, and then how was it working with him and Zach to create what has then become what has become Sky essentially?
I mean, it's not the first time we've worked with Jordan. He started having input on our music. The first time was for Doomsday. Um,
No way, I
we
never
we
knew
had a
that.
yeah we had a version. We recorded that song and then it wasn't quite right. So Dan and Sam went up to Jordan's and worked on the vocals for it there. Um, it was less involved, like far less involvement than it was on this record. Um, but it's not the first time we've worked with him, and he's always had like a he's always been interested in our band. Like we've always kind of like bounced ideas off him. Like he's someone that we've known for a long time, so it's not something that's completely fresh for us. But it was the first time that we kind of brought him in at the very early stages of a record and said, "Cool, let's really work together on this." So that
Hmm.
was a new experience for us. But it worked great, and we loved working with him. And obviously, the album wouldn't be the same if he wasn't involved in it. But I think what he did was just bring out like a different side of the band, and it's something that we've never been like in with a producer for the whole record like that before. So it was cool to like have him challenge ideas that probably would have gone through otherwise, and then also have him reflect on ideas that were given to him as well.
Yeah.
I think there was a good dynamic in the room. But then with Zach as well, like he's mixed a few records now, so he gets us like there's so few mix revisions with Zach now. It's just like he understands the band sound so well and like brings so much to the picture. Um, so yeah, he's like the safest pair of hands for our band, and like he's always pushing the limits of what he's doing as well. So yeah, they're a hell of a double act.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's sorry, go on.
I was gonna say like honestly, Zach's incredible. Three of my most anticipated records this year was your guys' record, Devil Wears Prada, and Coheed and Cambria, who Coheed and Cambria I'm a massive fan of. He mixed all three,
Hmm.
and all three of
Yeah,
them are some of the best sounding records of not only of this year but of those bands' careers. So like,
yeah.
he knows what he's doing, and it makes it sound incredible.
I just don't know when he sleeps because he's like Yeah, I didn't know he had done the Coheed record, but yeah, you can just see why he's so in demand because he's you know, in terms of in terms of what he does, he's still a young guy. Um,
Yeah.
so he's obviously bringing a lot of fresh ideas to the table, and yeah, total pleasure to work with, and I'm sure it won't be the last time for us.
Yeah, killer. Two more questions. One of these is going to be a real selfish one, right? So, again, like I said, I've been a massive fan since 2009, saw the River Stage. I've been to 8 shows. No, sorry, I've been to 7 shows. I think the River Stage show is going to be my 8th show out of the whole tours that you guys have done. I heard a rumor years ago when Daybreaker came out that the song that you guys recorded, Rise Against, which was the bonus track,
Yeah,
on a Japanese edition, right? So it's not even that, I don't even know if it's that well known. That's how deep this lore goes. It was written because Rise Against, the band, had a song on Endgame called Architects. So you, as like a tongue in cheek kind of thing, sort of wrote one back for them. Does that
I
ring any
don't.
bells?
Yeah, I don't. I think it was a coincidence. I think
Ah,
it was a
okay.
coincidence because yeah, I don't remember there being any discussion of let's call this song "Rise Against" because of the band. I
Because I
no,
know from the timeline that I understand, Endgame came out in 2011, Daybreaker came out in 2012. You guys had toured in between those two albums coming out.
yeah, I think
And then
this
I
is
th- and then randomly, yeah, like I said, it was on some random Japanese edition that I managed to get imported over here through JB Hi-Fi. Had that song on it,
mhm.
and I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then years later, I was browsing Reddit and I saw this whole thing about, oh, they did it as a tongue-in-cheek thing to Rise Against, which I thought was funny. And I've been curious about it for 10 years, so I wanted to know.
I think it's like a crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
And unless that title was decided after saying, "Oh, this would be funny to do," and then it completely just went over my head when it was mentioned to me. Um, yeah, I don't know if that improves the law or makes it or ruins it, but
Muddled,
I think it
muddled it
was
a
a
little bit, but we're
coincidence.
good. We're good. Last
Asking, getting
question.
such an ambiguous answer from me is helping the law continue. So I don't know.
If anything, you're just shrouding it in more mystery.
Yeah, yeah.
Last question I've got, and again, this is another selfish one. So, the song we talked about, or song you mentioned earlier, was Doomsday. So, obviously, that song has a very deep connection with what its subject material is about. Um, the reason I bring up the song is obviously there was a cover of it that's kind of gotten quite famous of Choir Noir.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, did they approach you when that got done, or like, did you guys make contact with them at all about doing something together, or because that would have been cool?
No, we had worked with them on a couple of records. They came in and did vocals on. I think they featured on Holy Hell and For Those That Wish to Exist.
Oh,
Maybe it
cool.
was For Those That Wish to Exist and Classic Symptoms. But yeah, anyway, yeah, we were familiar with them. They contributed to records. Super cool collective. Um, yeah, no, there was no real conversation about it. It was like I think they just did it and it took off, and I think it's a very cool thing to do. And like they've obviously got a strong connection with the band anyway, so I think anything like that is a really cool thing for people to do. And I think it's also when people put a lot of effort into it like that and like make a real decent production of it, it's it's such a compliment to the band that people wanna do that kind of thing. So
For sure.
yeah, they're awesome collective though, and like such great people to work with as well.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, and I said this at the very start, but you guys hold a lot of influence, I think, in the scene, and it gets to the point where guys like that want to go out and even do covers and stuff that's not really in that scene per se. So, there's a lot of love for you guys, and purely from a fan's perspective like mine, I've had a lot of love for about 16 years for you guys, and listen, you guys keep coming back, I'm gonna keep seeing you. So
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, thank you for sticking around and for supporting us over all those years because that's some yeah You got a good CV of gigs that you've been to there.
Well, that's it. Well, literally, like I'm gonna pack this up now. We're gonna wrap it. Like I'm going to see Opeth in about 15 minutes.
Amazing. Enjoy.
It's going to be fun. But to wrap your side of it up, as I mentioned earlier, the Architects Tour will be back in Australia for the 11th time, doing the biggest headline tours of their career, doing Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne. All the details are going to be on the end card at the end. Ali, I appreciate you really taking the time out to chat. Again, like I said, I've been a fan for such a long time, and it's so cool that I get to do these things. Architects have been on a list I call five before I die. Coheed was the first one I ever got to do. You guys are number two. So I appreciate you taking the time. And yeah, this has been fucking awesome, man.
Awesome. Yeah, well, thank you for your time, man. Thanks for a great interview. Appreciate it.